My name is Rachel Elise Harmon, and on October 4th, something happened that changed everything I thought I knew about life, death, and what really matters. It was a Thursday afternoon, and the sky was pouring. My mom was driving me to music lessons, and I was sitting in the back seat, completely absorbed in my phone. I had my headphones in, watching TikTok videos, just another dance trend I'd probably forget in a week. My little brother Jordan was next to me, tapping away on his Switch, and honestly, we weren't saying a word to each other. Mom kept asking me to check the GPS because she couldn't see the next turn through the rain, but I didn't look up. I was too far down the scroll, too busy watching strangers dance to a remix of a song I barely knew. I remember being a little annoyed she interrupted my feed. That's when it happened. A semi-truck came out of nowhere, and everything, the sound, the rain, the motion, became a blur of spinning metal and breaking glass. The crash was violent. I felt my body whip around, my phone flew out of my hands, and I think I screamed, or maybe I didn't. It's strange how fast it all happens. Then, just like that, everything went black. I don't remember feeling pain. I just remember floating, suddenly not in my body anymore. I looked down and saw the crushed car, flashing lights, people yelling, my mother being held back by a firefighter. My brother was already in an ambulance, and I could see my body still in the back seat. My face was bloody. My clothes were torn. I didn't even recognize myself at first. But the part that really hit me, the moment I realized this wasn't a dream, was when I saw my mom's face. She looked completely shattered, like a part of her had already died. I tried to scream, "Mom, I'm okay," but she didn't hear me. No one did. And then everything around me started to fade. The flashing lights, the noise, even the rain, it all just dissolved into this warm, soft brightness. It felt like being wrapped in sunlight, only softer, more alive somehow. I wasn't scared. I wasn't confused. It felt peaceful, like I had stepped out of a storm and into something so calm it made me want to cry. That's when I saw him. Jesus was standing there, not like I'd seen in pictures or paintings, but real, more real than anything I'd ever felt before. His presence didn't just fill the space, it filled me. There was light pouring from him, but I could still clearly see his face. His eyes met mine, and in that instant, it was like he saw every moment I'd ever lived, all the good, all the bad, all the shame, every TikTok I'd posted hoping someone would notice me. But what shocked me the most was that even knowing all of it, he still looked at me with love, complete, unconditional love. He said my name, Rachel, just that. And when he did, it sounded like music, but also like home, like the safest place I'd ever been. I started crying, not because I was scared, but because I felt everything at once, love, peace, guilt, comfort, all flooding through me. I looked at him and whispered, "Am I dead?" And he said, "For a little while. But there's something I need to show you." Before I could ask what he meant, he reached out his hand. I took it, and suddenly we weren't in the light anymore. We were somewhere else entirely. It was like a massive, endless space filled with floating screens. Thousands of them. And on each one, I saw kids, some younger than me, some older, all staring down at their phones or tablets, completely zoned out. Their eyes were blank, their faces tired. Their bodies looked heavy, like the screens were physically weighing them down. As I looked closer at the screens, my heart started to sink. These weren't just kids scrolling for fun, they looked trapped, like something had taken hold of them. Their shoulders were hunched, their faces empty, and surrounding each one were these dark, shadowy figures. They weren't human, but I somehow knew exactly what they were. Jesus turned to me and said, "These are the enemy's workers. They whisper lies through these screens every day. I watched one screen as a girl scrolled through Instagram, tears running down her face. Around her neck was this thick, heavy chain, and at the end of it, her phone was the anchor. Every time she swiped, the shadows added another link to the chain. Jesus told me she believes she's not beautiful, that she's not enough. She spent years comparing herself to things that aren't even real. And in that moment, I felt sick. Because I had done the exact same thing, laying in bed at night, comparing myself to girls with perfect lighting and filters, wondering why my life didn't look like theirs. Then Jesus took me to another screen. A boy, maybe 11 or 12, was sitting in a dark room, completely absorbed in a violent video game. I could see the sweat on his forehead, the dark circles under his eyes, the twitch of his fingers never stopping. Every time he made a kill in the game, the shadows around him got stronger, feeding off the anger in his face. Jesus whispered, he hasn't slept properly in years. His parents don't even know how deep the damage goes. I thought about Jordan, how he used to laugh so much, and lately he just stopped. Always gaming, always angry. As we kept moving, I saw even more heartbreaking scenes. Kids sending cruel messages to classmates they barely knew. Girls taking pictures they'd never want their future selves to see. Boys watching videos that made the shadows laugh. It was like the entire room was filled with pain and loneliness, disguised behind glowing screens. I turned to Jesus and asked, "Why don't they just stop?" And he looked at me with so much sadness and said, "Because they can't hear me anymore. The noise is too loud." I stood there, surrounded by the sea of screens, and I started to feel overwhelmed. Not just because of what I was seeing, but because deep down I knew I was one of them. I had been that girl, mindlessly scrolling, comparing, chasing likes, letting my phone numb me when I felt sad or alone. I thought it was harmless. I thought it was just what everyone did. But now I was seeing the truth, that the enemy had turned something meant for connection into a tool for destruction. And we all walked right into it. Jesus gently placed his hand on my shoulder and said, "Rachel, do you know how many hours you've given to your screen?" I shook my head. I didn't want to know. But he waved his hand, and suddenly I saw something like an hourglass, except instead of sand, it was filled with memories, moments of my life that I'd never get back. I watched myself sitting on the couch while my grandmother tried to tell me stories, and I was too busy laughing at a video on my phone. I saw my little brother asking me to play, and me waving him off without even looking up. I saw sunset after sunset, happening right outside my window while I was inside snapping selfies, pretending to be happy. Jesus said, 8,422 hours. That's how much of your life you've handed over to a screen. My breath caught in my chest. That was more than a year. A full year of my life, gone. I looked at him and whispered, "But everybody does it," hoping somehow that made it less awful. But Jesus didn't let me off the hook. He said, "And that's why I'm showing you this. Because no one is talking about what's really happening." Then he showed me something that hurt more than anything else. He showed me the times he had been there, right there, trying to comfort me when I cried at night, trying to guide me when I was lost, trying to love me when I felt invisible. And in every one of those moments, I had reached for my phone instead. I had chosen scrolling over stillness, distraction over healing, noise over his voice. I started crying, but not because he was angry. He wasn't. He was heartbroken. And so was I. Jesus pulled me close, like a father would with a child who just realized the weight of their mistake. His voice was gentle, but it carried this kind of power that made it impossible not to listen. "The enemy doesn't need to scare you with monsters," he said. He just needs to keep you distracted long enough to miss your purpose. That hit me hard, because I knew it was true. All those hours I thought I was relaxing, escaping, fitting in, I was actually drifting further and further from the things that really mattered. Then he showed me one last vision. We were suddenly standing in a living room that looked strangely familiar. It was mine, but not how I remembered it. My family was there. My mom was laughing, my dad had put his work phone away, and Jordan was playing a board game on the floor. There were no screens in sight. The whole room felt warm, full of life. I could even smell chocolate chip cookies baking in the kitchen. Jesus turned to me and said, "This could have been tonight, if the phones had been put away." I felt my chest ache. That image, my family actually connecting, being present, loving each other without distraction, it was so beautiful, but it wasn't real. It was what we could have had. I didn't even realize how much I missed that kind of closeness until I saw what we'd traded it for. And for what? A bunch of scrolling and silence and fake smiles behind blue light. I looked at Jesus and said, "I don't want to go back. I just want to stay here, with you." He smiled, and it was the kind of smile that made everything else fade away. "I'll always be with you," he said. "But your family needs you. Others need to hear what you've seen. Not everyone will listen, but some will, and that's enough." He reached out and gently touched my forehead. The moment his hand met my skin, I felt like I was being pulled backward, like falling through the light, fast and weightless, and then everything went dark. Suddenly, I was hit with pain, real, sharp, unbearable pain. My chest felt like it was on fire, like I'd been crushed and then set on fire from the inside out. I heard shouting, beeping, and a loud voice yelling, "We've got a pulse." I opened my eyes, or maybe I just became aware again, and all I saw were bright hospital lights above me. I couldn't speak. There was a tube down my throat, machines hooked up to every part of me, and people rushing around in a blur. I was back. The doctors said I had flatlined for 12 minutes. 12 full minutes with no heartbeat, no brain activity. They called it a miracle. Said I shouldn't be talking, let alone thinking clearly. But I remembered everything. Every moment with Jesus, every word he said, every face I saw on those screens. I wasn't supposed to be alive, but I was. And I knew it wasn't because of luck or good medicine. I was back because he sent me. The first thing I said when they took the tube out was, "Where's my phone?" I think it shocked my mom. She told me it had been destroyed in the crash. And when I heard that, I started to cry. Not because I missed it, but because I didn't. I felt free, like something heavy had been broken off of me. It took weeks for me to be able to tell my family everything. I was scared they wouldn't believe me, that they'd think I hit my head too hard or was making it up. But when I finally did, something changed in our house. That night, I asked everyone to leave their phones in a basket. No scrolling, no distractions, just us together. I told them about Jesus, about the screens, about the shadows and the chains and the moments we never get back. My dad, who never really cried, had tears in his eyes. My mom didn't say a word, just held my hand the whole time. And Jordan, he hugged me tighter than he ever had before. That moment felt like the start of something brand new. From that day forward, our house wasn't the same, in the best way possible. We made a new rule: no phones during family time. We brought out old board games from the closet, started eating dinner at the table again, and even went for walks without our devices. At first, it felt weird, like we were missing something. But over time, we realized we hadn't been missing anything when we put our phones away. We'd been missing everything while we were on them. My mom deleted most of her social media accounts. My dad stopped bringing his work laptop home. And Jordan, well, he still plays games, but now he plays them with us, and only after his homework's done and we've spent time together. I went back to school a few weeks later, and that was hard too. I didn't know how to explain what had happened to people without sounding crazy. I didn't want to be the girl who almost died, and I definitely didn't want to be the Jesus girl. But something inside me had changed too much to pretend nothing happened. During lunch one day, I sat with my old group of friends, and when they all pulled out their phones like we used to, I just sat there. Quiet. Not judging. Just different. A few noticed. Some asked questions. Some stopped inviting me after that. But others listened. My best friend Ava was one of them. After I told her what I saw, she deleted Snapchat and Instagram the same night. She told me later she hadn't slept through the night in almost a year because of how anxious she felt from comparing herself to everyone online. Now she sleeps. Now she smiles more. Her mom even texted mine to say thank you, though she didn't know exactly why. All I did was share what Jesus showed me. That's all I can do. And to be honest, I still struggle. Sometimes I catch myself picking up a phone and scrolling without even realizing it. That pull is still there. These apps are made to trap us. But now, when I do it, something in me wakes up. I can feel the chains starting to form, and I stop. I breathe. I look around. And I remember the light and the chains and the truth Jesus showed me. So many people think they're in control of their phones, that it's just a way to pass time or stay connected, but I've seen what it really is. I've seen the way it pulls at your mind, your heart, your spirit, how it whispers lies you start to believe without even realizing. Lies that you're not enough, that you're missing out, that everyone else is living a better life than you. I believed those lies for years, and I didn't even question them. But now I see the screens for what they really are: distractions, traps, prisons dressed up like freedom. Jesus told me something I can't stop thinking about. He said, the enemy can't create anything. He only distorts what God made. And that hit me so deep. Social media isn't evil by itself. The phone isn't the villain. It's what we allow to speak through it. It's how easily we let it replace real moments, real relationships, and even the voice of God. The enemy doesn't need to get you to worship him. He just needs you to stay distracted, addicted, and numb. If you're still watching this, maybe it's not by accident. Maybe you were meant to hear this. I don't think everyone will believe my story, and that's okay. I know what I experienced. I know what I saw. I know the peace I felt when I stood in the light with Jesus, and the weight of regret when he showed me how I'd spent my time. I came back because he told me to share it, not to scare you, but to wake you up, before it's too late. So please, I want you to try something. Just for one day. Put your phone down. Keep it in your bag, or in a drawer, or anywhere it's not in your hand. Sit with your family. Talk to your friends. Go for a walk and actually look at the sky instead of taking a picture of it. You might be surprised by what you feel in the silence. You might hear the whisper of something or someone you've been missing. Jesus is still speaking. The question is, are we listening? If this story touched your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment if you've experienced something similar or if you're trying to break free from the pull of your screen. Subscribe for more stories like this, and remember, your time is your life. Don't waste it. Thank you for listening. My name is Rachel Elise Harmon, and on October 4th, I died for 12 minutes. But Jesus brought me back, and this is the reason why.